Hello everyone. Today I will discuss how IC555 work as a astable multivibrator in a very simple manner. Let me show you first what is the internal circuitry of the IC555. See, if you look into the this internal circuit, you will find this is a very complex circuitry. Many components are there, but I will explain you this internal circuitry by considering each component individually. So before going into the detail of internal circuitry, IC555, let's revise the basic components. First, I will discuss the comparator. Comparator is a circuit that will accept input of linear voltages, and it will provide a digital output that indicates when input is less than or greater than the second input. Means if suppose we are applying V1 and V2 at the inverting and non-inverting terminal, it will give output, and this output will be either Vset or minus Vset. If suppose the from this voltage transfer curve you can see that if the differential input voltage means Vd is positive, means V1 is greater than V2, then the output will be plus Vset, that corresponds to logic 1. If the Vd is less than 0 or on negative axis, or you can say V1 is less than V2, the output will be minus Vset, which corresponds to logic 0. So in this manner you will get a digital output logic 0 and logic 1 based on V1 is greater than V2 or V2 is greater than V1 is less than V2. How comparator will be used in the IC555? There may be two type of comparator we can form, like non-inverting comparator and inverting comparator. So what is, as we are using non-inverting and inverting comparator in the IC555, so I will discuss these two. Let me take inverting comparator first. So if you see in the figure that it is a comparator op-amp in which we are applying two input, but the why we are saying it is not a basic comparator, it is a typical comparator. I'm saying as a non-inverting comparator because here I am applying input V in at the non-inverting terminal, and at the inverting terminal I am applying a fixed voltage plus 2 volts, let's say. So we will come every time we will compare input voltage with the fixed voltage V reference. Based on that, it will give output. How it will give output means, if you see the voltage transfer curve, you will see that if we are applying input voltage which is greater than V reference, it will give Vset, and if it is less than Vset, then it will give minus Vset. So based on this, we can convert sinusoidal input to the pulse form. So you can see here, if suppose V in is the sinusoidal waveform, so up to 0 to 2 volt it will give minus Vset, and from 2, if it is increasing from 2 to 6 volt, and from 6 volt to 2 it will give a Vset as per the voltage transfer curve, because this 2 from this 2 volt it is now increasing, means the input is greater than V reference, so it will give a constant Vset. This constant Vset it will show once it will reach to equal to the V reference voltage. Once this V input is now below the V reference voltage, it will switch to the minus Vset, and it will continue up to the next equal voltage, input voltage equal to the 2 volt. So in this way we can convert sinusoidal waveform into the pulse waveform. Now look into the inverting comparator. Here it is the opposite of the non-inverting comparator, where we are applying a fixed voltage at the non-inverting terminal and we are applying a time varying signal at the inverting terminal. Gain is at the inverting terminal and your plus terminal is fixed to V reference. So here it is fixed and here it is here we are applying a time varying signal. So as per this circuitry, this inverting comparator, it will give output correspond to this VTC. Here you can see that it is just it is flipped VTC as we see before in non-inverting comparator case. Here if suppose our input voltage is below B reference, it will go to the VSAT plus VSAT, and if my input voltage is above V reference, it will go to the minus VSAT. So correspond to this VTC, we can see that output voltage, the output will be again the pulse waveform, but it will be inverting of the non-inverting comparator output. Now come to the RS flip-flop. In this circuitry, I am showing an RS latch. Here I am not showing the presence of the enable signal or reset signal. In our circuitry, we are using reset, which is always, if it is not used in the circuit, it will always connect it to the VCC. That means your RS latch will always be in enable state. So here you can see that it consists of NOR gate. SR latch or RS latch can also be made of NAND gate. Here I am showing you the latch based on NOR gate. So you can see from the this figure that there are two input R and S. R stands for reset and S stands for set, and there are two output, one is true and another one is its complement. So whenever we are applying 0 0 at this terminal, it will give it will depend upon the what will be the previous case. Based on that, it will give the complement of the previous case. So if suppose again if it is in the previous case, if it was 0 and 1, it will give 1 and 0. If it is 1 and 0, it will give 0 and 1. Means it will switch to the complement of the previous signal, previous output signal. If suppose we are applying 0 at the S terminal and 1 at the reset, means second case, it will reset the latch, means it will give 0 at the output. Whenever we are applying S as 1 and 0 at reset, it will reset my output, means Q will be 0. For the 1 1, it is an indeterminate case, so we will avoid this last case 1 1, because in both case it is showing it will give 0 at the Q and 0 at the QR, which is indeterminate, which is wrong, because we know that this Q and QR will always be the complement of each other. Now come to the transistor circuit. As we saw that transistor circuit here, it is a BJT, and at the base input is applied, and the emitter terminal is connected to the ground and collector terminal is connected to VCC through resistor. Whenever input voltage is 0, then the transistor will operate in the cutoff mode, which means that it will behave as an open switch. Whenever input voltage is connected to the logic 1, or it is more than threshold voltage, it will operate in a saturation mode, and which means it will behave as a closed switch. Means whenever it is open switch, that means it disconnected the emitter terminal and collector terminal. Whereas if it is in the saturation mode, it will connect the collector and the emitter region. That means collector current will flow from power supply to the ground. And in a cutoff mode, it will disconnect the current, means no current will flow through the power supply to ground. So in this slide, I am showing you the internal circuitry. So So in this slide, I am showing the internal circuitry in which V1 node is at fixed 2 by 3 VCC and V2 node is at fixed 1 by 3 VCC voltage. So if suppose the voltage applied at the threshold voltage terminal means pin number 6, if you are applying a threshold voltage greater than 2 by 3 VCC, then this will comparator 1 will give the one output. Similarly, if why it will give one output, as you can see from the VTC of this non-inverting comparator, that the voltage, if input voltage is greater than V reference, it is giving high, and if voltage is below V reference, it will give low. Same if you see in the inverting comparator, if trigger voltage, that means at this pin number 2, if voltage is below 1 by 3 VCC, it will give output high output. So so you can see from VTC also, if suppose V reference is less than input voltage is below the V reference, it will give the logic 1, and if it is more than V reference, then it will give logic 0. So this theory we will apply to explain the working of this internal circuitry in the next slides. So what will be the V2 and V1? If we are applying because it is dependent on the VCC. So based on VCC given, we will calculate the V2 and V1. For example, if suppose we are assuming that VCC is 5 volt, so it will sorry. Now we will connect our IC555 as an A-stable multi-vibrator mode. So let me explain what is A-stable. A-stable multi-vibrator is a circuit which has two quasi-stable states and no stable state. Means it cannot it can never be at a stable state. It will go from high to low, low to high, uh, uh, in a predetermined time. So it is also known as self-running or free-running multi-vibrator. So what is this circuit? If I want to make a stable multi-vibrator circuit, we need to connect some external components. So these are the external component, and this is my IC555. So here I am connecting the R1 register in between the 4 number pin and 7 number pin, and R2 is connected between discharge pin, means 7 number pin, and the 2 number pin, and one capacitor uh, I am connecting here as a 0.01 microfarad, and this is the another capacitor which is used to avoid the fast triggering. Here we are connecting threshold terminal and the trigger terminal together, or we are shorting threshold and trigger terminal. Means whatever be the voltage across this capacitor, it will go simultaneously to these two pins. Means every time your threshold voltage and trigger voltage will be same, or you can say that both comparator will get the same input. So, so finally, you can say that A-stable multivibrator does not require any external trigger pulse. So let's see what will happen if we connect the IC555 as a A-stable multivibrator. So we are connecting some external components, and just first see what will happen here inside. First, uh, as we once we will connect the power supply VCC, the voltage in this voltage divider network at this first node will be fixed at 2 by 3 VCC, and which corresponds to, if you assume that my VCC is 5 volt, this node will have 3.33 volt. So this is the reference voltage for the comparator 1, and it will be fixed. In the second node of this voltage divider network, this will be the 1 by 3 VCC, and it corresponds to 1.67 volt. Means at this comparator the reference voltage is fixed at 1.67. So both comparator, one is my inverting non-inverting comparator, reference voltage is 3.33, and inverting comparator, I am calling it trigger comparator, the fixed voltage is 1.67. Means you should note down that these two comparator are having two different reference voltages. These two reference voltages are generated by the voltage divider network. This voltage divider network consists of three same resistances of value 5 kilo ohm. Initially, once we connect this circuit, our at time t equal to 0, we see the voltage across capacitor will be initially 0 volt. Means as you can see here in this circuit, the pin number 2 and 6 are shorted. That means my threshold voltage and trigger voltage will always be same. So initially 0 volt is there. So at time t equal to 0, 0 volt will appear at both comparator circuit. So you can see here, because of this connection, threshold voltage and trigger voltage are same, and this same voltage is equal to the voltage across capacitor. So once we connect this circuit, my capacitor is at 0 volt. As a result, the comparator 2 will compare the 0 volt with the 1/3 VCC or 1.67, and threshold comparator will compare 0 volt with the 3.33 volt. As a result, comparator 1 will give 0, logic 0, and comparator 2 will give logic 1. This 0 and 1, the output of the comparator will go to the flip-flop. So you can see here, if we are applying SR01 combination, it will reset the flip-flop. Reset the flip-flop means at Q 0 will appear and Q bar 1 will appear. As my complement Q is, we are using it as a output, so at the output we will get high, and as Q is at 0, logic 0, the transistor will be off, because at the input we are applying 0 volt, so this transistor will be off. As a result, the ground connected here is actually disconnecting this node. As a result, the capacitor will start charging through through this path, means VCC, R1 and R2 and then C, means the capacitor will start charging from R1, R2. So its voltage will increase, it will increase and will reach up to 1/3 VCC, and then it will reach to 2/3 VCC. And what will be the voltage at any time t, we can calculate by using this formula. It will be VCC 1 minus e to the power minus t by R1 R2, R1 plus R2 into C. So my R1 plus R2 into C is my charging time constant. So in this time my capacitor will charge. This charge will not reach up to the maximum voltage VCC. It will only reach up to 2/3 VCC, and it will stop here. So you can see what will happen if once it will reach to the 2/3 VCC, means it will at the both comparator circuit, now the voltage is 3.33 volt. So my input voltage is now reached to the 3.33 volt. It will compare, and as the threshold comparator 1, the both inputs are 3.3, 3.33, so it will give the output 1. Its output will be flipped. Previously it was 0, and in the trigger comparator it will compare 3.3 with the 1.67, and as a result it will give 0. So now my previous condition is changed, means SR is now 10, and this will set my flip-flop, means at Q 1 will appear, at Q complement 0 will appear, means at this time my output will switch to the logic 0. Because of this change in the voltage, my T1, the transistor will be on. So my transistor is on. Now condition will be, now next operation will be see in the next slide. Once transistor is on, now the ground here is now connected with this node. Now in this condition, capacitor will not further charge. It will charge up to 3.33 volt, and because of this presence of this ground path, now capacitor will start discharge. So it will now disconnect. It will now discharge through the R2. It will not go to R1 because now this path, it will get this path to for the discharge. So the discharge at the time of discharge, the voltage appear across the capacitor will be VCC e to the power minus t by R2C. So again capacitor will discharge. It will start discharge from 2 by 3 VCC, and it will discharge up to 1 by 3 VCC. It will not go up to 0 again. It will only discharge up to 1 by 3 VCC. What will happen next? Let me show you in the next cycle. Now come to the second discharging cycle of the capacitor. Uh, at this point, my capacitor is charged up to 3.3 volt. At this condition, the threshold comparator 1 will give the output 1, and trigger comparator 2 is at giving output 0. So as a result, my flip-flop will get set. As a result, my transistor is T1 is on. So this T1 on is actually connecting this ground to this node, and which results the capacitor will start discharging through this R2 to this ground. So my capacitor is discharging through this path, and as a result my voltage will go down. For example, it is going to 2.5, and it will reach up to 1.66 volt. Once it reached to the 1.66 volt, our this trigger comparator 2 will give the output 1, and the threshold comparator will give the output 0. So this will make the flip flop reset, and as a result, the output will become the output will become 1, and the transistor will go off. So this discharge cycle will complete here, and again the charging cycle, discharging cycle will go on. The time in which the capacitor will discharge, let's say it is T low, it can be calculated by this formula 0.693 R2 into C. So in this way we can calculate the low time and high time, and we can calculate the total time period of the generated pulse. So if we want to calculate the period, so we will calculate the high time and we will calculate the low time from these two formula, in which you can see it is using R1 plus R2 times C, and it is using R2 into C. So total time period will be my 0.693 times R1 plus 2R2 times C. Hope all of you will get understanding of the A-stable multivibrator working. Thank you. Now in the end, let me summarize what we discussed in the working of IC555 as an A-stable multivibrator. That capacitor will start charge from 0 volt through R1 and R2, and the charging time will be R1 plus R2 into C. And this the charging will continue till the voltage reaches to 2 by 3 VCC. In this condition, the trigger comparator will give low output and threshold comparator will give high output, which results RS flip flop to be set, or or Q equal to, or you can say Q equal to 1. In the discharging time, the capacitor will start discharging from 2 by 3 VCC through R2, and it will discharge in time T equal to R2 into C, and this discharging will take place up to uh, whenever it will reach 1 by 3 v times VCC. At this condition, threshold comparator will give low output and trigger comparator will give high output, which results RS flip flop to be reset, that is Q will be 0. In this circuit, we did not require any external trigger pulse generator. So you can see here, in the first charging cycle, capacitor will charge from 0 to 2 by 3 VCC. First discharging cycle, capacitor will discharge from 2 by 3 VCC to 1 by 3 VCC. In the second charging cycle of capacitor is from 1 by 3 VCC to 2 by 3 VCC. Second discharging cycle of capacitor is from 2 by 3 VCC to 1 by 3 VCC. Why I am talking in terms of first charging and second charging cycle, or first discharging and second discharging cycle? Because the in the first cycle, the capacitor will start from 0 volt, but once it will stable, then it will only charging and discharging between two levels, 1 by 3 VCC and 2 by 3 VCC. So for the calculation of trigger pulse uh, time period, we should consider the high time and the low time whenever my charging and discharging is stable. So the for the calculation of pulse time period, we will take the high T high and T low of the second cycle, or the except the first cycle. So this we need to remember, that for calculation of time period of the pulse generated by the astable multivibrator, we should consider any pulse uh, after first pulse. Thank you for hearing me.